So this is the overview for lesson 1.4, and this is really digging deeply into the concept of ethics, which often we hear from educators is the one that is most uncomfortable for them. So we provide a lot of supportive resources. Again, this is all part of the original unit, Unit 1. The goal here is really that students would be able to define ethics and think about different ethical paradigms and how they influence their choices. Here are your assessment tools, the CASEL alignment, the different elements that will go into portfolio documentation. There is the first dilemma of the lesson plan, so that's exciting. Resources here, the trolley problem, which may be familiar to many of you, and then another optional resource as well. The prerequisite is lesson 1.3, the one that came immediately prior, because that is already students have already begun thinking about the 3 E's. And again, 45 minutes, although I'm going to suggest a few places where you can cut if necessary, because ethics is something that many students really want to dig deeply into. So we begin with a review about the idea of ethics, sharing that it can be a difficult concept, ask for volunteers to begin to think about what their preconceptions of that word entail. Here are a few of the ways that ethics might be defined. I'm sure you may have your own definitions, but these are just to get people thinking about concepts of right and wrong, things that's often synonymous with ideas like morals. And then we suggest 5 minutes to digging into the trolley problem. Classic trolley problem, there's a link here where students are encouraged to make a choice about pulling the lever or not, depending on how many people might be saved. We suggest really getting students involved in the concept and in grappling with the right decision, highlight differences or disagreements in their responses, and then allow them to explore additional trolley problem scenarios. This is something that you could cut if you are running low on time, but or maybe they could do it as a homework if they wanted to. There's a simulator, so this is actually kind of fun for a lot of students. So that's something to look at, or it's additional, so it could be cut if necessary. Then we suggest, not listening to my dog, apologies for that. We suggest looking at 3 different ethical paradigms that are common in ethical reasoning: utilitarianism, deontology, virtue ethics. And here are definitions for each of them. We also have additional resources on the website for all of them. I really hope this isn't too loud. And by the way, this is my dog, Pepper. We then suggest that you ask students to consider how these paradigms influence their lives and also debates. So, for example, what are some instances in your own life or in the news where you see ethical paradigms or decision-making coming into practice and causing disagreements? So taking these kinds of somewhat far-removed ideas like a trolley problem and making connections to the real world here in this example. And then finally, the exit ticket is to think about how they define ethics based on what they learned during this lesson. So possible enrichments would be this dilemma. And then we also have the Moral Foundations questionnaire quiz, and here's the link to that, to learn more about their own moral foundations. So again, just to go over the things that were happening when my dog was barking, my apologies, think about these 3 different ethical paradigms: utilitarianism, which is the greatest good for the greatest number of people; deontology, which are rules that are justified by moral principles; and then finally, virtue ethics, which is what probably we come closest to in the Good Project, thinking about actions that put character strengths into practice, such as bravery, justice, curiosity, etc. So these are some paradigms that are helpful in unpacking ethical reasoning. We also have a professional development session specifically on ethics on our website that might also be of help. And again, there is the ethics core concept blog that we pointed to in other lesson plan overviews. So I hope that was helpful, and I apologize for my loud dog. Thanks.